Hey everyone, Christine here from This Bit of Life, and I want to show you guys inside of Rabbit Trails Through Science today. So this curriculum for this volume is all about birds. The whole thing is full of bird lessons, and we had such a fun time making it together as a family and doing all the lessons and activities. So I want to show you guys inside of this, the books that go along with it, and I really want to chat a little bit too about why I include books in a part of our science and a part of our nature study. And it's really kind of my philosophy behind all of my curriculum is I love including real books. I'm not a huge fan of textbooks. I definitely think that they have their place, but I love learning through real books. And some of them are a little bit, I guess you could sort of call them textbooky because they're more like reference books when it comes to science, but then I still include lots and lots of picture books in this lessons as well. So I just love how organic you're able to learn through these books, because when you take a topic and you find picture books to go along with it, you're going to learn right through those picture books. And when you add beautiful reference books to it, you're able to get these incredible pictures that you're able to look into all of their diagrams and real photography, and some of it's even beautiful drawn pictures, and it's just such a rich way for your children to learn through literature, but to put it into subjects like science and nature study. So that's something that was really important to me along with the science, is to make it very similar to the Rabbit Trails Through Literature layout, but to have it be its own thing as well. So let's dig in to Rabbit Trails Through Science. You guys can see the inside of it, see how I created the lessons, see the books that go along with it, the different topics, and some of the activities and whatnot that you would find in it as well. So when you go into the book first, you are actually going to see what books are included. So let's dig into those. The main spine of Rabbit Trails Through Science, and this will be for all Rabbit Trails Through Science lessons for at least the near future, are all going to come out of this amazing book. This thing is heavy. Explanatorium of Nature. This is a DK book. So those of you who know the DK books, these are really great reference books, and I really love using this for our studies. So birds are just a very small portion of this book. I'm going to be creating all kinds of nature studies using this as the spine of the curriculum. And what that means is that it's just the main book where I pull the lessons from and kind of like where all the inspiration comes from. And then we stem off of that to create all the rabbit trails. So look at this. Oh my goodness. How gorgeous is this? This book is so amazing. Look at that cardinal. So this is one of the pictures I have in one of my like promotional pictures of my kids doing different parts of the bird, and it has this amazing picture in the background, and this is what catches people's eyes, is this amazing cardinal that's like the first page of the book or the bird section in this, and the pictures just do not disappoint, because we are going, oops, I'm flipping the wrong way. We are going on, here's this amazing skeleton, and there are pictures of wings. I mean, this is just so great. So like inside of these, let me get a little bit closer. You can see like they're diagramming it for your kids. And so we do a lot of this as part of their nature journal. So when you're going through this curriculum, there's journaling recommendations to go along to create their own nature journal. So this has it all laid out for them to just copy stuff and to make their own journals based off of what was found on these pages. So this book is just absolutely incredible. We are working now in our home on a reptiles and amphibians lesson that'll be released next year using this book as well. So I'm excited to show you guys inside of it. But you need to just grab this. This is in my Amazon shop along with all of the other books that go with Rabbit Trails Through Science. You can grab it yourself in my Amazon shop that's listed on my website, which I'll put in the comments after we're all done. So there are just incredible pictures in this book. It has so much information. It is worth, I think it's only like 20 bucks too. It's really affordable for how much is in here. It is crazy. This is Explanatorium of Nature. So the next reference book that I have that's part of the curriculum is Nests, Eggs, Birds. And this is a little bit smaller of a book. And this is an illustrated book. And the illustrations are just beautiful. So let me flip over to some of those so you guys can see. So here's a section on nests. absolutely beautiful. I love these illustrations. Something else that's really neat in this book, let me find a good example for you, is it does have these highlighted words, these words in bold, and it has an amazing glossary in the back as well. And so I pull from this a lot for a lot of the definitions that are in the curriculum as well, and I'll show you guys that in just a second, because every single lesson has, this is a great one. You can see all those bold words. I love it. So I love the reference that this has with those definitions and just all the detail that's in here as well. So we pull from this book a lot in the curriculum too. And then there's two more books that I recommend getting. The one is the Burgess Bird Book. So this is completely optional, but it is in every lesson recommended to read this book as you're going through the curriculum. So you can take all year, or you can read it faster if you want, do whatever pace you want to do. But if you read a chapter or two every single week, you'll get through this book in the school year and just have this amazing bird story. This is a classic to go right along with the curriculum. And last but not least, I pull all of the poetry from this really beautiful poetry book called On Wings of Song. So this whole book is full of poetry. And so every single lesson has copy work. I'll show you the inside of that in just a second. So it's just a really pretty, sweet poetry book. And it is split up by section as well. So like there's a whole owl section. And so it's just a really fun, and it has a nice little bookmark for you too that's attached. So it's just a really sweet book to add to your collection. I pull all the poetry out of this for the whole curriculum. So let's dig in and look at these lessons, shall we? So inside of the curriculum, it's set up just like Rabbit Trails Through Literature, where you are going to have a lesson, copy work, and then some fun. So the lessons are all pulling out of that Explanatorium of Nature. So this is where I will recommend reading certain pages to learn about certain topics. I'm also going to recommend observation and journaling. And so this is the cool thing, that if you are in an area where you can see some of the stuff that's recommended in the curriculum, this is a great time for observation, to go out on your own out in nature and do real nature journaling of what you can actually see these birds doing. So especially if you're able to do the nest lesson during the spring, find some real nests. Don't just depend on what the book shows you, but that is the beauty of it, is you can just depend on what the book shows you if you want to do that as well. And then copy work, there's copy work, like I said, from the poetry book for every single lesson. And then there's also going to be a Bible verse for copy work as well. And then just like Rabbit Trails Through Literature, there's going to be a small little Bible lesson that goes along with the Bible verse copy work too, that kind of just brings everything together about the lesson. So about what kind of bird that you're learning about, and just, you know, how it relates somehow to our lives, or some type of fun life lesson. And then every single section has some fun. So some of the activities that are in some fun are dissecting an egg and looking at all the parts of an egg, making birdhouses and bird feeders, some STEM activities. One really cute one has to do with penguins, and also a lot of crafts as well, because a lot of bird stuff, you can only do so much, and there's tons and tons and tons of craft ideas out there for birds. So there's a lot of bird crafts for this some fun. And most of it is stuff you can find very, very easily at your home, or in like your garden center, because obviously we're talking about birds. So, you know, just simple things to do to make bird feeders and whatnot, with stuff you can very, very affordably and easily find. Because I want it to be easy for everyone to do. I don't want it to be super complicated. I want it to be, especially for those of you who aren't big crafters, to make it feel like it's doable for you to still do in your homes as well. And then of course we have our Rabbit Trail section and our library book section. So this is where amazing books are recommended. Some of the great titles that I love are Owl Moon, A Nest is Noisy, and An Egg is Quiet. That series of books, love it. So those are recommended in there. The Emperor's Egg is another really popular book, and Seabird is another really popular book. So it has some amazing titles in here. So, and then of course, we have the Burgess Bird Book as well recommended, and then a fun YouTube video to go along with whatever the lesson is. And then of course, we have more ideas for every single lesson. So inside the More Ideas section is where you're going to be doing vocabulary. And so you're going to be finding those vocabulary words from the books or to look up in your own dictionary. So you can do this in a number of ways. You can just look them up together and do it as a discussion. You can create your own glossary page to use as copy work, or if your child's a little bit older, have them practice their dictionary skills and their glossary skills to look up these definitions themselves, and then either use it as copy work or just to read what the definition is out loud, however you choose to do it. So it is another great opportunity to practice dictionary skills, a great opportunity for more copy work, however you choose to do it in your homeschool. And then this is also another great place just for more fun activities, more hands-on, more opportunity for research, more opportunity for hands-on activities, game playing, more observation for sketching and just reading other parts of the book, because especially the Nest Egg Birds book, there's one whole section on nests, one whole section on eggs, and one whole section on birds. So there's a lot of stuff in here that's not necessarily recommended inside of the lessons. So that's where a lot of it comes in, is in the More Ideas, because there's so many pages you can explore for different topics in this book that aren't part of the main lesson. So a lot of that is put into the More Ideas as well. So there's just so much that goes into the lesson. So let me tell you guys what the lessons are, so you know what you're going to be exploring when you're learning about birds in this curriculum. So of course we've got an introduction to birds, because we want to introduce you to learning about birds and what birds are and learning about that skeleton and all that fun stuff. We've got egg anatomy. There's feathers and wings, owls, beaks and bills. That's one of my favorite activities, is in the beaks and bills section. Migration, nests, eagles, penguins, ducks, peacocks, and courtship. So that's a really fun one with the peacock's beautiful feathers. Hummingbirds, ostriches, endangered and extinct species, coastal birds, and mythical birds. So there's lots to explore inside of this curriculum. So this is a full year curriculum. This is 32 weeks, so it's 16 lessons meant to be done over 32 weeks. So it takes about 2 weeks to do each lesson. And just like literature, you guys can take this and run with it. If your kids are absolutely loving one of the sections and you're finding all kinds of books and all kinds of extra things you can do to learn about hummingbirds, take longer to do it. Do longer than 2 weeks. Completely run with it. And if there's a section that they're just not feeling, then you can condense it and make it shorter. So make this your own. That is the biggest thing that was the most important to me with Rabbit Trails, is that you guys can take these ideas and run with them. Make it your own. Create your own rabbit trails. Do as much or as little as you want to make it work for your homeschool. This is for all elementary ages, and I would even say middle school. My 7th grader is doing it along with my 3rd grader. That is his main science, is doing rabbit trails with us. So although I don't necessarily market it towards middle schoolers, my middle schooler's doing it. I feel like it's enough. So you guys can make that decision for yourself. But especially with the options for more research and the options for the vocabulary and all of that, there has been so much for him to do to continue on with that exploration that it has been more than enough for him to do for his science as well. So we've been able to do it together as a family. So it is multi-age, especially if you've got multiple elementary age kiddos. This is something they can do together, so you don't need your separate science for both kids. You can do it together as a family. And you can just work on their levels. So for the copy work, do less for the little kids, do more for the older kids. Like I said, for the dictionary skills, you can do a little bit more, have the kids do it themselves as they're older, or you can just talk about the definitions together as a family for younger ones. Make it your own. Work at your child's level. But obviously, if you guys have any questions, let me know your questions, and I can make sure to touch on those on my Q&A page. I'm going to put the link down below so you guys can get the link to Rabbit Trails Through Science. And of course, check out all of my freebies I have that you guys can see inside. There is a full sample on the website, so you can see inside of one of the full lessons. And there is also a sample schedule for this as well. So you can see how I schedule it out over 2 weeks to get an idea for those of you who are planners and that you're wanting to see how you plan this, because I don't have day one do this, day two do this inside the curriculum. But I do have that sample schedule for you so you can see how I laid out over 2 weeks for one lesson, so you can see how that would look in your homeschool. But that obviously you can make it your own and do multiple parts of it all in one day so you can have more days off, or spread it out so that it doesn't take, so you have like small lessons throughout each and every day. So make it your own. Do what works for you in your homeschool. But I think that's it. I think that's all the details I can think of to talk about rabbit trails through science right now. So let me know which lesson you think your kids would love the most. I am so looking forward to hearing from you guys, and I hope that you love this rabbit trails as much as we do. Thank you so much. I'll talk to you soon.